Hello, I'm Adrian, and welcome to Fight Scene Breakdown. Today we're taking a look at the highly requested Smallville fight scene in Man of Steel. Martha Kent is being threatened by Zod, so naturally Superman flies in to defend her. But moments later, when Zod is weakened, two members of his faction appear in Smallville and engage Superman in a no-holds-barred fight. What's interesting to note here is that the extended battle also serves to highlight character beats. Superman has a tremendous advantage over Zod, as once Zod loses his helmet, he can't process everything because he hasn't learned to focus his abilities. It also shows how, despite his lack of formal training, Superman is still able to overcome his enemies. There has been plenty of criticism thrown at the film for showing Superman destroying huge amounts of city property in his battle and recklessly endangering citizens, but in his defense, he is a complete rookie. He doesn't even understand the scope of his power, has no training, and is wrestling with the very concept of being Superman, guardian of the human race. He isn't going to be fighting and saving civilians constantly like a boss just yet. Sure, he'll save them if they're right there, but he isn't at the level where he does it without even thinking yet. Superman's greatest asset in terms of his cinematography is his ability of flight. It's always incredibly fun to watch him zip across the sky, as this lends itself to really breathtaking shots. Here Superman flies right at the camera and later on adds to Superman's flurry of punches. The fight is also set up very much like a western duel. The outlaws, the hapless civilians locking up the doors. We even get a holster shot, which in this case is merely them scrunching up their fists. The quick frequent pans emphasize their speed, and in a neat visual touch, anytime there's a strong punch, such as here, we get a visual air bubble that lasts less than a second but gives it that extra oomph. This sequence right here is a great way of using the off-camera space to add suspense to the fight. Faora flies right into the center of the frame as we see Superman in the distance, but right before he lands his hit, she rolls off to the side. An over-the-shoulder reveals Superman flying towards her, but the other guy flies from off-camera to apprehend Superman and slam him. Superman is pretty much the pinnacle of what can be achieved with presentation fighting. He never really does more than tackle or throw a couple of hooks or crosses, but what makes it so visually interesting is the devastating power behind each impact and how often we're changing scenery. We start off in a field, end up on the street, suddenly we're at a diner, and back out. It's fun, plain and simple. In terms of the actual choreography, we do get to see some technique from Faora since she's a trained warrior. She easily blocks his two right punches, and when he goes in for the left cross, she also blocks it and uses it to shift to what is known as his dead side, since she's safe from any of Superman's optimal strikes. She therefore launches a devastating counter cross, sending him reeling. Also, Faora probably gets the best part of the choreography in this fight, as just like Albert Wesker, who is able to zip across the room with blinding speed in Resident Evil 5, so too can she go from foe to foe in less than a blink of an eye and easily dispatch them with crosses, uppercuts, and throws. In this section right here though, we do get to see Superman fend off his clearly superior attackers pretty well despite being on the floor. He pushes Faora's kick, dodges a stomp attack, and when slammed back on the ground after trying to fly for a moment, counters Faora's punch by slamming her to the ground and then uses her as a battering ram against the larger warrior. Join my Patreon to get access to cool behind the scenes stuff and a bunch of other rewards. What did you guys think of the fight? Which fight would you like me to analyze next? Subscribe and you can follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and brand new Facebook fan page, Godzilla Rex. See you next time.